This week on Business Marriage, we are talking about manifestation. Yes, it can sound a bit woo-woo, but is it actually real? Can we talk to the universe and make things happen? Like, can we magic money into our account? I'm actually going to prove it here on Business Marriage. Listen, guys. Hey, friend. Hey, friends. I think I was cut off then. Oh, sorry. Oh, I feel very zen.
Guys. Welcome to the podcast. This
Today
is Business Marriage if you want it to be.
we are manifesting. Oh, that's quite sexy, wasn't it?
It was not. Talk about manifesting. But today,
I love
guys.
that music. I feel
It's
like
good, isn't it?
I just want to shut my eyes.
I wish you would. Keep them shut and shut your mouth and all. Guys, today we're talking about manifesting. The life of your dreams is but a goal away.
It's so shit.
All you need to do... Go on, you do better then. Tell them. It's fucking about
Today,
manifesting.
guys, we are talking...
Try and sound manifesty, for fuck's sake.
Today, we are talking... I don't know why I sound like David
We are talking.
We're talking about manifesting.
Why do you sound like...
David Attenborough.
No, you do not sound like David Attenborough. You sound like Moira out of
Today,
that...
we are...
David!
Allez-vous.
Shit's Creek. That was such a good show, by the way.
We're talking about manifesting.
Talk about manifesting. There is a reason. Why I'm manifesting the ability to fucking talk. This is why we shouldn't, in between breaks of recordings, batch recorded it. Oh no, the truth's come out again. The Iron Curtain's been pulled right back.
Stop talking about the Iron Curtain.
Talk about your Iron Curtains. But this is why you shouldn't eat a snack
Why?
in between recordings, because now I'm claggy.
I've got like oats in my
Yeah, I
teeth.
know.
We're talking
Claggy
about
with
manifesting. Now, it's a conversation I was having with a friend of mine yesterday who is a coach.
Coach.
And she works a lot in corporate leadership.
Corporate leadership.
But in her coaching...
Coaching.
God, you're so annoying. Manifesting
though?
doesn't just mean echoing.
Echo.
She was saying how, even though it's about creating leaders and all that, she was like, actually, it's not about that. It's about being almost like so happy with who you are and so at one with yourself that it makes you perform better in your job.
Good
It makes
luck
you
selling
happier.
that to corporate. Good
But she's
fucking
not
luck.
necessarily trying to sell it to corporate, but we were having this conversation. We were talking about manifesting, that it is a massive part of what she believes in. And actually, if you talk
It's got a
to
real
a lot of
bad
people
stigma,
now,
hasn't it?
well, I think it's shifting. It's
Yeah.
like we were saying about, like Wim Hof, for example. How many people now have an ice bath? How many
Fully
people
in,
do the breathing,
fully
etc.
out, if you've ever
But I
used
think
the app.
manifesting is becoming more mainstream,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean
Pandemic of goodness.
well, and also I think so. I'm reading a book by Jen Sincero, and it's absolutely incredible.
I just love how she writes.
I read
so funny.
You're a Badass at Making Money a few years back, and it honestly changed my life, which sounds really, as I say that,
She just shat a gold brick. Before we started, she just shat a gold brick, didn't you?
what do you mean?
That's how much it changed your life.
Yeah, sorry. I was like catching on there. Yeah, just massive shit brick of gold. Yeah.
What?
But when I read that book, I remember it like absolutely making a massive shift, and I'd say changed my life. But then, as anything, we quickly go back to old habits. But I've now started one of her other books. I need to check the title.
You're a Badass.
You're a Badass. And it's all about kind of manifestation, but about imagine that the universe is there and everything that you want is available. And you just have to put the vibrations out to the universe or the higher energy or whatever you want to call it in order to get it. And honestly, these last few weeks since reading it, we have said to ourselves, haven't we? Right, let's be positive, talk positive. Let's be grateful for everything. Let's think abundance rather than scarcity. And I have to say, it's making such a massive impact. Now, it does sound woo-woo.
There is science behind it, though, isn't there?
Well,
There's
yeah, and this
actually
is what
science
someone was
behind it
telling
now,
me,
yes.
which a girl that I used to go to school with, who I now meet up for coffees, she is into, like wellness coaching, and she was looking at like the science behind manifestation. And I was like, I am staggered to understand that it's scientific.
Yeah.
So what is it that they are? What can they see?
It's not that you can see anything. Well, basically, thoughts are magnetic impulses, aren't they? And they say like attracts like, but it's almost like, oh, you just put it out there and you get more of that stuff back. But your mind is primed to look for things that you tell it to look for.
Okay.
So if you're constantly worried about money, your mind can't tell the difference between reality and not reality.
Yeah.
So it will just show you more things that you're looking for. There's so many pieces of information. So your eyes and your ears and your nose, especially your nose, are absorbing.
That was really uncomfortable. Yours is fucking horrible.
I've still got. Oh, biscuit! I'm flicking it on the floor.
Your nose is like beaky, so I'm all right with a strong nose. I'm a strong, powerful woman.
Oh God, here we go. Is this going to be the "I'm a boss bitch" thing again that you always say?
Never.
That's your new thing. But
it's not my new thing.
Yes, there's like millions and millions of bits of information that are coming in through all your senses all the time. Your VACOG, they call it, the VACOG.
VACOG.
But your brain can only process 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information consciously at any given time. So your brain gets rid of so much shit, gets rid of so much of it. You'll never even notice. Like, how many things are in this room that are red? Your eyes are already picking it up. Yeah. Ironically, none.
There's loads.
But your mind's blocked out because it's not important to you right now.
Right.
So there's a thing called the reticular activation system where
is that what it is
basically become aware of the things that you are aware of. You are consciously put in frame things that you want to be aware of. So like, for example, if you buy a car, like you've got, what's your car called? A Cupra thingy. What's it called? Yeah, Cupra. Like before you had one of them, you probably didn't see any of them.
No, and now I see them everywhere.
They're everywhere, but they were still there, but your brain wasn't looking for them before.
So it's not necessarily woo-woo. It's just that we're like more aware of everything.
Yes.
But I find it absolutely fascinating.
But there's more science. That's reticular activation system is like the most basic thing. Right. Like you start. So if for example, if you start your day badly, right, and you have the kids are being arseholes, you get them to school late, then someone cuts you up in traffic, you'll find more you're annoyed and you will find more reasons to be annoyed.
That's funny because I said that to Louis yesterday. He went, oh, Mummy, I've just had the worst day. So I fell over, I tripped over, and then this happened. Oh, it's just been so bad. And I said, Louis, here's some advice for you. If you focus on all the things that have gone wrong that day and all the things that are so bad, you're actually going to attract more of it.
Yeah.
And he went, oh, so I should be like, oh, I'm having such a great day. It's the best day. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, oh, okay, I get it.
But here's the challenge that I find with manifestation is that it is generally considered to be a bit woo-woo. It is generally considered to be a little bit out there.
Okay.
It's a lot of the gang that sort of bang on about crystals and all that kind of stuff, which again, it might have validity to it. But,
you know, like if we can be spiritual and there can be greater things that happen, like for example, we're not going to go into this, but I was told recently, like you hear about like chakras, you know, like you can go and get all your chakras read and find out your colour. And then I found out there's this thing that you have these inner animals and people can read what your animal is. And I'm like, what? This stuff like blows my mind. Like it sounds almost like unreal. And then my friend was telling me, oh, I've forgotten the name again. It's called it's like cranial sacral therapy, which is effectively where they can almost like feel trauma in your body. So like say you always suffer with like a really bad knee or back or something, it could be that there's some sort of trauma stored in your body and they can actually help.
I'll put my hands on you and see if I can find some trauma.
I mean there's trauma all over my body, but anyway, that sounded really dirty, didn't it?
Down trauma.
Not in that way. But they can release the energy and I find that fascinating. So then if you think about like energy and all that kind of stuff, then going back to things like gemstones that have come from natural sources, like I don't know, is there stuff there that it could mean stuff? It's all a bit but yeah,
people don't like stuff that can't be explained.
Yeah, if
you can't explain it, people don't like it. But there is how many people out there now who are talking about it, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think there's like another step to the manifest, because I remember back in the day watching a TV show and there were some guys who were like, oh, we're going to teach you to be rich. And there was this girl, and God love her, she was 2 sandwiches short of a picnic. And she was going to all of these seminars. She's spending all this dough about, I'm going to be successful and wealthy. Do you remember watching this TV program?
No.
And they turned up in like a S500 Merc. It was also put on for TV. They were like right smarmy twats, these two. I'm sure I'd actually met a couple of them. And they were smarmy twats.
Did you work with them?
Yeah, I did actually, yeah. But they turned up and they were like, oh, here's your money manifestation process and blah, blah, blah. And she had fucking Post-it notes all over her bathroom. And she's like, I'm a magnet for money. I am becoming successful. And at the end of the program, 6 months later, she was still working in the retail job that she fucking hated, and she was no further forward. In fact, she was further backwards because she'd be going through all these seminars.
So you can't just sit there and wish that money's going to just come through the door. Because you do read that. That's what I was going to say. Like, oh, I need £500. And the next day, I've heard this, a check just come through the door, like a rebate from something. Yeah. And okay,
Tony
you're
Robbins
like,
tells a very famous story.
But is that true then?
Well, yeah, it can be.
So then that's sitting on your ass and just wishing that money comes in.
No, because you've done something about it.
What have I done?
So like Tony Robbins, for example,
he
gives an example of the time, his most powerful ever like coaching moment or realization of like what he was put on the earth to do. He was about 20, 21 years old. He was living in California, flat broke. He was trying to put himself out there as a speaker. He was doing loads of stuff like he learned about NLP and he was trying to basically get his name out there. He was going on to radio stations and TV stations and trying to show what NLP actually did. And he's also, I didn't realise.
Can you explain what NLP is? Neuro-linguistic programming.
So it's a form of
language.
It's the art and science of communication, basically. But there's lots of like clever stuff within NLP. A lot of people are like, oh, it's the snail's tactic. It's not that at all. It's really clever if you understand it. I've trained in NLP.
Bye now.
I'm not. Bye now. I will say that at the end of a sales phone call. How many of them buy? None, but it's still nice, isn't it? But anyway, so Tony Robbins is also working at this point in time for Jim Rohn, who's like one of the best like motivational speakers of all time. Not making any dough though. And he goes to a restaurant. This is such a cool story. He goes to a restaurant. He has to walk there because he can't afford the petrol to go there, right? And he goes to an all-you-can-eat buffet, which is about 3 miles from his house, right? He's got shrapnel in his pocket. All he's got is his change. And he goes to this restaurant and he sits there and he has his meal and it's like $7 or whatever it is, right? And he sits there and he has his meal and he said, and he watched this little, and he said, the door opened and a little boy walked in, must be about Louis' age, 6, 7 years old. And he's got a bow tie on, he's suited and booted, and he comes in with his mum. And they sit down in the booth and this little boy wants to take his mum out for lunch. He's taking his mum for lunch or dinner. So anyway, so Tony Robbins is eating his food. And he's sitting in this restaurant and he gets up at the end and he's like, and the woman is like stunningly beautiful. But he said, I watched this kid and he pulled the chair out for her. He's like trying to be a real gent. So Tony Robbins gets the end of his food, right? And maybe this is just a story, but I love the idea that it's true. And he goes over to the kid and he said, I just want to let you know. He said, you're a class act kid. He said, he said, I see that you've brought your lady out, you pulled the chair out for her, you brought her to a lovely restaurant. I see you've taken her out for lunch. That's lovely. And the little kid goes, well, I can't actually take her out for lunch because I'm only 7, I haven't got any money. And she's not my lady, she's my mum actually. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. But he said, that's even more, he said, that makes you even more classy. Fantastic, good on you. He said, I had no intention to do it, but somebody just told me to go and do it. He had his last like $20 in his pocket and he put all of the money on the table for the kid. He said, actually, you can take your mum out for lunch. And the kid was like, how?
That makes me feel quite emotional.
He's like, he said, I can't take your money. So Tony Robbins like chucks all this change on the table. He said, I can't take your money. And Tony goes, you can take my money because I'm telling you to because I'm bigger than you. And he leaves the restaurant. So that's all of his, and he walks back home.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've never felt more elated in my life.
Yeah.
He's like, that was the highest moment of my life.
Yes.
I had fuck all. I had nothing. Doesn't know how he's going to pay his bills, no nothing. Gets home that night, I think he's got no electricity on, no nothing. Wakes up the next day and a check comes through in the post for $2,000 for somebody that he'd lent $1,000 to 2 years before, who'd done a runner. And this letter came through the door with a note attached to it. Tony, I'm so sorry, I hit real hard times. I know that I borrowed $1,000 from you. I'm on the way back up again. Here's your $1,000 back and $1,000 on top as a thank you and an apology.
No way.
The next fucking day.
Is that actually true?
Boom! Manifest in your face, bitches.
Is that actually true?
Yeah, that's true.
That blows my mind.
That is true.
But then that's saying that you're putting something out.
So this is the thing, right?
Then
so
that is woo-woo.
A bit, but also you've taken some action.
Yeah.
And you've done so with your energy. Like human beings, you can't destroy energy. Now, again, without getting too spiritual about it, but that energy is a feeling, which is an electrical impulse. You can track that. So on some micro minuscule level, that good energy, that good electricity, that good impulse has gone into the universe. But, and this is where it gets a little bit woo-woo. But then in theory, like attracts like. So you get that good energy back. But you've also, I think there's manifesting in like the law of attractions that gets rolled into one thing. And I do believe it to an extent, but I think the law of action added on top of that
also
is even more powerful.
I think the theory, because when I read Jen Sincero's first book, You're a Badass at Making Money, there was this part where it's almost like giving, like that example, when you give something purely just because you in that moment are just solely focused on that giving. It's not about you feeling good that you've like, I don't know, like this is going to sound like a really lame example, but I remember when I was reading that book, we'd gone to London and we went to get an ice cream in an ice cream parlour, and there was a homeless lady sat outside. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
and I was like, I just went straight up to her and I was like...
Which you would never normally do, would you?
I was walking past and she went, oh, get the peach flavour or something, it's amazing, or something like that. And I went up to her and I was like, tell me what you want. What's your favourite flavours? I'm going to get you an ice cream. And I went in there and she was like, her face, she was just like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get you the biggest ice cream. What flavours do you like? So we went and got it. I gave it to her.
She wanted about 4 flavours as well, didn't she?
Yeah, I was
20
like,
quid
fucking
later.
hell. All right, love. No, but I got it. I gave it to her and I carried on walking. And the point of it was, we've all done it, right? When you've given some money to charity, or you put money in a charity pot, or maybe you've seen someone homeless and you go and give them money, or a busker and that. And if you're honest, you take the claim of that. You take it's like, oh, I've done something really nice. It's almost like to make you feel like you've done something good. But in that moment, it was honestly 100% not about me. I just saw that lady, and in that moment, I was like, what a lovely person. I'm going to buy her an ice cream. There was no it wasn't like I'm doing this so that everyone can see how nice is it, the girl that bought the homeless lady an ice cream. Like, I can't explain what I'm trying to say, but in that moment, I felt so amazing that I'd just done this kind act for nothing in return.
Reward.
And that's the kind of thing. And that's what I'm starting to realise. I'm reading this other book, and that example there is that it's not just about like doing the nice things. It's about almost like doing them without thinking, without expectation. And then I think that's when you get rewarded.
Yeah.
Because seriously, last few weeks, haven't we? Like, we would say we are positive people, right?
We're glass half full, yeah.
We are 100% positive people. However, how we talk could be perceived as negative, because it would be like this. Oh my God, I haven't posted anything on socials this week. I was supposed to sit and do this and I haven't done it. Oh my God, I haven't done this. I was going to put this new prices on my website, this new offering. You know what I mean? It's almost like, rather than going, oh wow, this week I've been so busy with this amazing client. It's so good. I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful. I love what I'm doing. This is great. I've posted once this week and it was like a really good post. Like, do you see where I'm coming from? It's like we're positive, but we talk negative. We're always about like, oh, we haven't been on that holiday that we've wanted to go on. And then rather than it being like, we're going on holiday this year. We're going on holiday in October. We're going to go away. We're going to go abroad. It's almost like, oh yeah, we haven't had, like, I don't know, like we end up talking negative. So we've set ourselves this challenge of like, we have to stay.
You've got hair in your mouth, sorry. There you go.
Oh, that was so sexy. Do that again. Oh, thank you.
Wet.
No, but we've set ourselves a bit of a challenge that talk positive.
Yeah.
Be positive. Be grateful. Yeah. Be grateful for everything. And the other thing as well, it's like when you don't have loads of money, and like I say, our business is bringing a good amount of money, but then you've got outlays, you've got, our cost of living is quite high. Does that make sense? So it's not that we don't have money. It's just that there's a lot of like manoeuvring of stuff. So you always live in this kind of world where I think we've been so conditioned to think in survival mode. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That we're negatively attracting negative money, if that makes sense. We're always almost saying to ourselves, we haven't got any money. Yet when you go, and I'm not saying about, oh wow, go and spend loads of money that you know you don't have, but it's more like there's certain things that you have to spend, right? You have to buy food shopping, okay? It might cost you £100. You could even go, oh my God, I've just spent £100, which I've been doing. Or you just go, I've got an amazing shop, we can eat really well this week. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like, don't think about the negative of some of the situations. And I've honestly, no lie, this sounds crazy, but this last 2 weeks, every time I pull myself up and I'm like, I go, everything's there waiting. There's money everywhere. There's clients everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm doing what I love. It is almost like, I keep saying it, I'm going to sound really crazy, but it's like a valve opens up in my head, and it's almost like I can feel this like flow of like energy. And honestly, I'll be sat there and then it just be like, ping, Starling Bank, some money's landed in your account. The next day, ping, some money's landed in your account. And it's like, oh, wow.
Here's a prime example, right, that I've had this. And by the way, if you're going, what the fuck is manifesting? So I actually looked it up. So it's a verb. Manifesting is to make evident or certain by showing or displaying. In other words, manifesting is the act of practice of bringing something into life through belief.
Oh, I like it.
So that I really like. So just to reiterate that, to make evident or certain by showing or displaying. In other words, manifesting is the act or practice of bringing something into life through belief. But this is the thing, and it goes back to that TV show, which was on the BBC, and they've got a fucking way that they shoot stuff, and they've got a narrative that they want to. So they've got the two rich guys in the fancy cars and the slick suits talking shit, and then you've got the woman who is sort of in moderate poverty, who stayed in moderate poverty, but you know they'd picked someone who really, you know, with the best will in the world. Can everybody be successful? No, probably not. And she was just one of those sorts of people.
Well, it depends what success is, but we're not going to go into that. It's a different
Jesus
thing.
Christ! But the act or practice of bringing something into life through belief. Belief, I think, is one part of it, but the other part of that is the acting. I think when you take a step in faith, sometimes in blind faith, results will come. So here's an example this morning, right? And it's, I had no reason to do this at all. So I was, when you were off on the school run, I saw, I was doing my Instagram scroll, normally doom scrolling, but I wasn't. I was just looking for hotties on my Explore page. Anyway, a pal of mine from back in the day who I taught podcasting to, Matt Hall, right? He had an event recently, and the video that he'd shot of like a bit of him speaking on stage, it was just fucking fantastic. It was shot brilliantly. The cuts were brilliant. It looked amazing. The content was bang on. His delivery was fantastic. Like everything about it was brilliant. And just for no reason, I just WhatsApped him a voice note. I said, hey mate, hope you're doing good. I'm just messaging you to say I saw that video and it was fucking brilliant. I was like, the angles, the way it was shot, the crowd, the content, how you delivered it. I said, you look so at home on stage, mega value. I said, it looked top draw, like top class in terms of like motivational, educational experts. That is A star. It's so good. Here's the point. If you fucking wait, here's the point. Half an hour later, he messaging me back. He was like, oh my God, but that is so fucking weird. He was like, I thought literally this morning I'm going to message you about something. That's so, in fact, you know what? Shout out to Matt. Here we go. Hopefully he didn't say anything rude about it. Here you go. I'm going to play it through the, where's my...
Let's hope it's not.
This could be my last one. If you don't hear from me, it's because I have been arrested. You absolute psychic weirdo. This is so bizarre. I've been thinking I want to reach out to you to just make an inquiry. And then you messaged me and it was like, whoa, that was weird.
That's manifesting. So he's basically saying he wants to come start doing these London shoot days. Can he come and basically hire the studio out for a day and record 3 or 4 podcasts and have us do it? Now, again...
That's not why you were doing it.
I was not doing it for that purpose. I had no expectation of getting anything back. I just wanted to let a really nice guy know that I really rated his content.
Do you know what? This so links, and this podcast might end up being us just talking about this and not needing to do the other bits, because when you said that, like I say, these last few weeks I've been really picking myself up, and not in a bad way. Like, we live in a world where we know we shouldn't compare ourselves to others, but we do, and it can be easy to like look over your shoulder and be a bit, I don't know, I guess FOMO or a bit jealous maybe, and we might talk about other people in a way of like, oh, they're doing that and I'm not, and do you know what I mean? It's just
You're bad
it's
for
a bit
that.
negative,
You
like,
are bad
oh,
for that,
I wanted to do a cause and this person is now and I'm not. But then I was like, this week, like, don't do that. Like, just celebrate everyone. So like when I'm actually like engaging, obviously I'm always like, I'm not someone who just engage for the sake of it. I'll write what I want to, like, if I find it fun or engaging, whatever. But it's like telling people like about them, like, oh, that's great, that's so interesting, like taking the time to actually listen and read. And like when the last few weeks I've had some inquiries that have come sort of like out the blue through people that I've been connected to for a while, and then when I'm on those calls and it's like I'm just in flow and it's like I'm so in the moment with them, I'm really finding out about them. And I was just getting this, like I had an email from a client yesterday, I was just like, thank you so much. I feel like I'm in such a safe pair of hands with you. I'm so excited. And it's like, it goes back to what you were saying then about almost like doing things, just being like positive, sharing positivity like telling people, like making people feel good. Does that make sense? Just, I think that goes a long way. And it also links to almost like that whole stepping into the person who you want to be.
Yeah.
Because like
Act
this
as
book
if.
I'm reading is like, you need to step into being that person. It doesn't matter what people are going to think of you. You've got to stop worrying about what people think. You have to completely own who you are and who you want to be.
I bet that landed for you, didn't it?
Yeah, because I was like, even though I think I am, but I'm always thinking about what other people think or what someone says, or like, oh, I couldn't possibly do that. Or, and then I have in this, you know, we had this like this alt self of a person that we want to be. So I think the things that combine is like stepping into like exactly the person that you want to be without kind of fear. And then it's like linking that up with then because that's almost like taking the action. Then you've got this like positive that you're putting out to the universe and the vibrations. And I think all of that together is what happens when you manifest. We've actually got like a little thing
so
here.
if you'd like to know how to manifest and how to sort of actually the tactical process of this, because again, it can sound a bit woo-woo.
Yeah.
But that's only because it's unexplainable,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's why people poo-poo it, because, you know, it's like, you know, how many people, you know, thousands, tens of thousands of churches around the UK every Sunday get filled up with people who've got zero fucking proof that God or Jesus exists.
Yeah.
Yet they go there in blind faith because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
And it gives them a mode of operating their life, and
Yeah.
it gives them a set of morals. They have a moral compass that they live by, if that makes sense. So why is that any different from a belief in anything else?
True.
So anyway, so according to this little article that we pulled up, here we go.
Maybe we could share this on
We can share this. We'll put a link to this in the show notes or the description if you're watching this on YouTube. So how to manifest. Manifestation at its core is believing you are the person who can achieve the goals that you set. I think that's really interesting. Are you the person who can achieve the goals you set?
Sorry, just on that, before I move on,
Jesus
I had
Christ.
this conversation with my friend yesterday, and exactly that. She's really stuck on this like idea of like the kind of coach that she wants to be. I know what she wants to be, but she's worried about what people are going to think. And I said
Fuck
to
'em.
her,
Fuck
no,
what
but
they
I said
think.
to her, she said, I'm just worried that, you know, people won't want to spend the money on it. They think, why do I need that? And I just said to her, if that's what you're telling yourself, then no one's going to buy it.
Yeah.
I said, if that is what you're gonna, if that is what you're telling yourself, then you are so right. No one is going to buy it.
And this is a prime example.
And that, no, I just said like there where it says, it's manifestation is the core at its core is believing you are the person. So like it's one thing to want to be this person that's doing all this fandango stuff, for example, but you have to believe that you are the person that is going to do that. So like I can sit here and go, oh, my dream is to be like talking on stages and stuff like that. But do I actually believe that I can be that person that goes and talks on stages? It's two very different things, isn't
But
it?
I think it also goes back to the point we mentioned earlier, to make evident or certain by showing or displaying. So you can't be the person
without taking action.
Without taking the action.
Yeah.
It's like when I sat on, 2012, I discovered podcasting. I sat on the fucking idea for half a decade. If I jumped in then, I'd be as big as Lewis Howes.
You say that, but
I would be though.
would you though?
Yeah, because I'm better than him.
But you just live in this world
I'm
of...
not. I love Lewis Howes. He's a ledge.
Maybe you wouldn't though.
Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'd still be a piece of shit. Oh, but I'm
No, that's another thing.
Shit.
Another thing you shouldn't do.
Taking it back.
Shouldn't shit all over yourself.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
No, seriously, that's another thing about this whole like
Take out the
manifestation, living in this higher energy. You know, like when someone says, oh, I like your top, right,
Yeah,
for
this-
example,
yeah.
and I do this all the time and I'll be like, oh, it's just H&M. That is a no-no.
Yeah.
You say, thank you. Because actually, there's two things. When you're saying, oh, it's just H&M, you're actually almost like throwing that compliment back in that person's face.
Here you go. I'll give you a compliment. Would you like a compliment?
No.
And see if you could take it.
No. And also, you're putting yourself down. And I used to do this a lot because I'm quite comical. It's easy to like make fun of yourself. I'm not saying never make fun of
I got
yourself.
pulled on this the other day
Yeah.
by a mate of mine,
Yeah.
Daddy Alan Page. Shout out to Danny Alan Page. Me
Shout out.
and Dan and Stevie D, my good pal, we've got like a little mini mastermind. And we were having we do a call at 6:30 on a Sunday morning. Good time to do it. But I said something as a joke, and he went, "Bro, I've got to pull you on your language." He went, "You say that shit all the time." Yeah. And I do it because I am the Chandler of the group, or the sort of the class clown joker. I say stuff as a joke, but actually, again, the universe doesn't know that's a joke.
Yeah.
So then you are becoming the person that you're becoming. Like I'm going, I'll be bigger than Lewis Howes. But do I actually believe that I could be? I do.
It's true though, and that's something I do because I like to make people laugh.
Yeah.
It's like jokes about yourself.
Yeah.
So apparently that's a bit of a no-no. Don't do that.
There you go.
And accept compliments.
Okay.
With gratefulness.
So how to manifest. Manifesting is at its core believing you are the person who can achieve the goals that you set. Here is a 5-step recipe to help you get started, according to people. Number 1, be grateful for what you already have. I think that's a big one, you know.
Big one. Let's read them and then maybe go through them.
Okay. 2, shift your mindset. 3, put it all out there. Envisage what you desire. Number 4, take inspired action. Keyword there being inspired. Number 5, be patient.
Nice.
Solid advice, isn't it?
I love that. And it's true, isn't it?
Go back to it, right. So number 1, be grateful for what you already have. Yeah. I think that is massive. Massive. Because again, to your point about the shopping, fucking hell, it's 100 quid. Another shop for 2 or 3 days for 100 quid.
So, look at what we get to eat.
We're grateful that we've got the money to do that. We get to live in a beautiful house. We get to eat.
We open the cupboards and we've got food.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
We've got to be grateful for that. Also, and I think there's a step before all of this stuff, all of it, which is being aware.
Yeah.
I think the first step to make any change is an awareness that a change is needed or wanted. Because I found myself the other day driving down to Essex to do this podcast recording, and I was like, and it was like weird. I was driving along. Essex is just flat. It's like fucking Holland. There's no hills in Essex. It's just all flat. So when I'm driving along at like 7 o'clock in the morning, the sun came up over this hill.
You just said it was flat.
Sun came up behind the horizon. Good, thank you. Thank you for correcting me, because otherwise I'm putting it out to the universe. I'm a liar. That's not the person I want to be.
You just said it's completely flat, and then over the hill.
Over this mountain. No, over the horizon then. I didn't want to say horizon because I sound like a bit of a twat. Over the horizon, the sun was coming up, and the sky was the maddest orange you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it was like beautiful. And Bill Gates and his planes hadn't been out that morning, so like it was a beautiful sky. That's a subject for another podcast. We're not going there. I was driving along, I was like, and those sorts of things, like sunrise and sunsets, for whatever reason, like they just hit me. I'm like, this is incredible. And I was listening to a good tune, and I was like, I'm actually going to go, like, this is the day that I want to live.
Yeah.
Like driving down to, it sounds daft, driving down to Essex to record with a good mate of mine, have a great laugh all day long, beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Be around great people, learn some cool stuff. I'm like, this is, if I could spend my days doing anything, I'd just do this.
I think
how fun.
As well, I'm going to link in with being grateful is like savouring moments. And I think, like you're saying there, you're driving, it's the beautiful sunset. And I think obviously in situations where there's like a beautiful landscape, or, you know, like if I said, like when we used to travel a lot, we've had some amazing, those poignant moments where you remember standing on that mountain and looking out. And obviously you don't necessarily have that day to day. But then like today with, you know, like just spending time like with the kids at the weekend and stuff, and like little things like the new series of Gladiators has just sent our house into a complete frenzy. But in those moments, like they're so happy, and you sit there and you go, if you actually sat and go, I'm just savouring this moment of happiness, like, so it's almost like savouring moments, feeling grateful. Definitely, it's a massive part.
But I also think that's really interesting you say about the Gladiators, right? Because it is, the kids have gone mad for it.
Oh my God, we got Thunderclap.
George's Thunderclap and Louis' Lightning Strike, and they just fucking love it. They rip their tops off.
Oh, and I'm apparently the Rankinator. I'm like, cheers.
Very, very good names. That's all invented by Louis, by the way, not including us. But those moments of grateful for those tiny little things, that's the thing to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you find yourself like, you know, in the hospital, you're like, oh, I want to be grateful of my health every day when I'm not in a hospital.
Yeah.
Or you lose somebody, you're like, I want to be grateful of all those people around me.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you fucking have a car crash, you're like, oh, I want to be great. I have to get a bus for a week. Oh, I want to be grateful of my car moving forward. But you can do it, such tiny little things. Yeah. And that, I think, is almost like a muscle. You're training it to look for things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Because you're either, again, you can accept and absorb 7 plus or minus 2 pieces of information at any given time. You are telling your brain what to absorb. So you can either look for things to be annoyed about, you can look for things to be grateful for. But if you can do it in the mini micro, then I think because I think sometimes people are like, oh well, when I get that, I'll be grateful.
Yeah.
And I'm bad for that. I was bad for that. Was I? Universe.
But that also links into like the shift in your mindset. You've got to be open to this. You've got to be open to if you're trying to do it like an exercise, and deep down you're going, this is bullshit. Like it's just honestly not going to work. Like you have to really like, and genuinely, I believe in this so much, and I can feel.
But your point about your pal who's like, oh, I don't know if they're going to buy it or sell it, then she won't. You're absolutely right. The best salesmen are those salespeople are those who genuinely believe in the thing that they're selling. Yeah. And you've got to sell yourself on the thing that you're talking about first and foremost, the outcomes that you're trying to achieve. But also, when you've then taken it backwards again, once you're so aligned and you've stepped into the person you want to be, selling whatever you do isn't really selling because it's like your purpose. Does that make sense? It sounds like when
really
you were
corny.
talking about when you were in flow, when you're on like a call with a client or a sales call, because you're really because you're not a sales person, but you are great at selling because you genuinely believe that people need the service that you offer.
Well, and also,
if you need great branding, go to orangeland.co.uk.
But it's also more listening, isn't it? It's like I'm not there to sell them anything. I'm there to have a conversation about, do I have something that they need? And if yes, then great, let's do it. And
you got something I need. I'm glad you said let's do it.
What is it?
You know.
I don't know. What?
Work it out.
No, what? So just ruining this beautiful moment. Right, moving on.
Shift of mindset. Anyway.
We haven't done any of this yet either.
Oh, fuck it, don't worry about it. Number 3, put it all out there. Envisage what you desire. Now, this I think is also, I think all these steps are important, but I think this is probably where people most struggle.
Yeah.
Because I think envisaging what you truly desire at the biggest level, like if you said to me, like, what do you want universally for your life? I have not got an answer. And I've been saying this I'm very fortunate. I've got like loads of really cool pals around me and we're very open. We have these sorts of conversations. I said to a mate the other day, I was like, I don't actually know what I want. And he was like, all right, check out Dr. John DeMartini's Values Factor.
Dr. John
Wonderful hair. Wonderful head of hair. That's all I'm saying. He's coming to Essex in a couple of weeks' time. Brilliant. I might go and see him live.
I've seen him live.
But of course you have. But when I sat down and went through it, I was like, oh, it's really, really interesting because when I look at the way that he's got this brilliant thing called the Values Factor or whatever
I've got his book somewhere.
Oh, yeah, you have. It's put up on that shelf.
Read it.
But when I went through it, it tells you like, here's the thing that brings you the most joy. I'm like, well, I should be spending more time doing that stuff. Which
what is it? Going to the gym?
No, it's like learning and growing.
Oh.
Because I love that. I love learning and implementing information.
Brilliant.
Marathon running. Love making. That's my 3 values.
You better get some learning on that then.
Well done.
I'll get you a book.
You shouldn't say that though. You should manifest it.
I can be funny.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I can't stop all funniness.
But envisaging what you want.
Envisaging, it's a hard word, isn't it? Yeah,
I
mean, I'm the same, to be fair. We both do.
Don't say that out to the universe.
No.
Shit. I remember, right, that when I first learnt about, like, the law of attraction, manifesting, law of action.
Remember when The Secret was like the book?
Yeah. It was Think and Grow Rich. I remember my good friend Nefrosini handed me the book. Yeah. And I read it in a weekend. I was fucking fascinated by it. I came back in on the Monday. I was like, Ephro, my fucking head is mashed. And she's like, what's wrong? I was like, every time I have a bad thought now, I'm like, oh shit, I'm putting myself behind in my own life. And she's like, yeah, but imagine you didn't know. And I was like,
what do you mean imagine?
Oh, yeah. Because I was like, oh, it's almost worse that I know now because I know how negative I'm being. She was like, but imagine you didn't know.
Oh, I see.
Imagine you didn't know.
Can't change it.
And I was like, okay, interesting. So that's the thing. I think, you know, envisage the big thing you desire. That is.
I love it. Take inspired action.
We might have a guest on who's going to help us draw our future, actually.
I love it.
I've got to get her on.
Got to get her Take inspired action. Again, when you're feeling in that flow state, you're feeling grateful, you've shifted your mindset, you believe that everything's there, you know what you want, you know what you're desiring, and then you take that action. Okay, like we said, it's not going to just happen if you're just sat there not doing anything. And I think that's probably why it is important to get that kind of a bit of a desire. You know, like for me, I'm the same really. I guess we know what we desire as in the sort of lifestyle we want, but we don't necessarily know where we want to be in 5 years, for example. No. But I think that's all part of it.
Jimbo, asks people all the time when it comes, and this just comes to business, but you could translate it to your life as well. It's like, what does it look like when it's finished? What is the business? Because otherwise, you can't.
What do we look like when we're finished?
We look like
what does our relationship look like when it's finished?
Just desolate.
Just
you watching Netflix.
Bit of skin.
Saggy old skin watching Netflix, soft porn. That's where you'll be.
Oh God.
I'll be around chasing the
Still not
skirt.
got over that from last week.
But yeah, taking this. Yeah, so what does it look like when it's finished? Because otherwise, you can't. How can you possibly take the
That's
steps in the
interesting,
direction
isn't
to
it?
get to where you want to get? It's like going on a journey without a map. It's like a journey. I just don't have a map.
It's like with the
for.
podcast, though, isn't it? Like we sit there going, we absolutely love the podcast.
Yeah.
And we've been to podcast shows, and we sat there and we were like,
We're doing.
we
what
want to do this business marriage in like, I think it was like a year. We're going to book a stage and we're going to do a show. And then obviously we didn't do it for 6 months. So bollocks.
So we weren't taking inspired action.
Like, how the fuck can we
because
want
we
that?
didn't have a clear vision. Because we had shifted our mind. We need to shift our mindset.
We've got this
because
whole concept that we could do a show with a bit of singing, a bit of fun, a bit of entertainment, and then obviously the show. But it's not going to happen if we don't take action.
No. Because point number 5, we got to 25 episodes in and we've been offered live speaking talks and then they'd all fallen through.
I know, not because of us, but
we weren't patient enough.
maybe.
It was number 5.
And then it says be patient. I
Being
like
patient.
that. Oh, I think this has been like a good little,
Yeah, I like this.
good little episode. I feel like we've done enough.
I feel cleansed, guys.
cleansed.
I feel right. I feel right, Brian. I feel right. Shout out for all the
I
Family
would
Guy
love to
fans.
hear though if. Do you know what I'd love to hear if anyone has actually had
manifested some big shit.
has an experience of manifesting and something has happened. I'd love to know.
You couldn't like what the voice note we played earlier. That's so weird. That's so psychic. That's so weird. But there is no coincidence because it's energy on some level. He must have thought, and okay, we're getting proper woo now. But
you do that
up
though,
in
don't
Halifax, and he's like thought it, and it's somehow I've been open to it, and now I've picked up the
But you
vibration.
had that though when you suddenly think about someone who you've not
And then
thought
they
about,
phone.
and then they phone, and it's like that is so weird.
There is no such thing as a coincidence, though, is there? So anyway,
there's
to
not.
wrap up, guys. Number 1, be grateful for what you've already got. Number 2, shift your mindset. Number 3, put it all out there. Envisage what you desire. Is that a Starling just pinging you more money? Fuck right off.
Let's see. Oh my god,
You couldn't make this up.
it is. That is
The
so
universe! How
weird.
did the universe just pay you?
£150.
Fucking right it did, universe. How brilliant is that as we're wrapping it up?
How funny.
Is it funny?
Wrapped it up.
Is it funny?
Is it or is it manifestation?
Put it out there. Envisage what you desire. Number 4, take inspired action. And number 5, be patient. And look, at the end of the day, right, if you're going, I'm not sure if I believe in all this stuff, why not just give it a fucking go?
Yeah.
Because you could either be fucking miserable or
Yeah.
you could be happy. What would you rather be?
Imagine if everything you desire is in a warehouse at the end of your street. It's all there for you. You just got to go get it.
Just go get it, guys. The warehouse is there. You've even got the PIN code. Beep, boop, beep,
That's
boop, beep.
courtesy of James and Sarah, that
That's
one.
very good. We should get Jen and Sarah on the podcast.
Oh my God, imagine.
Chuck it out there. Put it out there to the
I'm
universe.
putting it out to the universe, James and
Jen
Sarah.
Sarah, come
Please
on
come on
the
the
podcast.
podcast.
We'll send this to her as a clip, then she'll come on, won't she?
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this episode of Business Marriage, please feel free to let us know. We love to give you just our take, really, on life and business and marriage and entrepreneurship and family life and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes we have lulls, mega lulls. Sometimes we're going to be having guests on in the future, and sometimes we like to get a bit serious and talk about the stuff that's happening in our lives. But if you like it, give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you're a YouTuber, please give it... What was that?
5.
Fucking felt like I was having an epileptic shock then. Or give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube, or hit the subscribe button as well. It helps more than you can imagine. We love you, we love you, we love you. We'll see you the next time round. Goodbye, you beautiful coconuts.
This show
Yeah, I called
is a
everyone
Void
coconuts.
Media
I don't give a
production.
shit. Bing.